Perfect
Hello.
timing. How's it
Welcome,
going?
Joe. Good. How are you?
It's good. I'm excited. We haven't done this in a while. A lot's changed since the last time we
Yeah,
podcasted.
we really do. We got some, what's it called? Dust to shake off, I think, but we'll
Yeah.
get there.
Yeah.
Do you have a good holiday, Christmas time? What do you celebrate? I don't want to
Yeah. Yeah.
assume.
No, Christmas was fine. I had to work actually. So,
Okay.
yeah, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, but it's fine. I don't want to be a downer. So, why don't we talk about your family Christmas?
Well,
This was the first
I
one
had
with
the,
the new baby.
that's true. And we all had the flu all Christmas. So it
Oh,
was, honestly, not much better. Like,
yeah.
bad too. Like, I had it, then my wife had it. My daughter gave it to us, I think. And then the newborn's just recovering like right now, so
Mm,
it's rough.
that's
But
rough.
we're okay.
That's good. But everybody's feeling better.
Everyone's feeling better. I just have like a
Good.
little bit of a throat thing I'm dealing with now, and yeah, we'll get there.
Okay, well, hey, that's why they invented the mute button for things like this. So the
Yeah, I'm gonna
production quality is going to be great.
fair warning. Yeah, mute if you see me like going, you want to mute so I don't blow your ears off when I cough into my mic. It
Perfect.
goes for you too, Joe.
Okay,
That's up.
I'll do my best.
Before we dive into this actual planned out episode, guys, we're not just chit chatting. We got a whole big extravaganza award show.
Hmm.
Can we call it award show? Is that like overkill, or is that's good,
Oh,
right?
yeah, it's the end of year EV awards. It's a big
Yeah,
deal.
and maybe we could do this annually. I can't wait.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and I think this EV landscape is evolving so rapidly. This will serve as a nice little time capsule for what we
Mm.
were excited about at the end of 2022. And then fast forward to next year, there are some vehicles we might mention tonight that, don't even get delivered in the next year. So
Great
it'll
point.
be interesting to go back and look at.
I'm just like the ones I'm thinking about. I'm just praying will actually come, but we'll get
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Before we start, a little Ford F-150 Lightning news, because one of us in the room just got a new order, if I'm not mistaken. How are you feeling about that?
I'm on top of the world. I,
Tell
I
us
don't
about it.
I don't mean to get mushy. Sorry, I'm putting something in the chat there. Um, but when I got engaged to my now wife, there was such a relief of like the search is over, that thing that had been hanging over your head for so long. Like there's nothing to worry about. You feel that security blanket. And that is what it was like to order the F 150 Lightning because we have
Wow.
been drowning in uncertainty. She'll never watch this.
I was gonna say, I promise to never tell your wife you just compared her to an electric
Well,
truck.
no, that experience was similar.
No, I know. I'm
Obviously,
just teasing.
dialed up to 100, but it. No, I'm serious. The uncertainty is gone. We've locked in a
Yeah.
price. We've got the order number, and it truly feels like the end is in sight after floating around in uncertainty for many months. So it feels great.
I bet. And that's the biggest point. I think that's why like 50% of people converted on their orders is just like, I've been waiting for a year and a half, so I might as well just like stake my claim and see what happens.
Yeah.
But a lot of us did that at like a high trim level with just like a, toss in the dark that will actually convert
Yeah.
on it for some of us.
Hmm.
You got the XLT, which
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty jealous of. Like it's a little more expensive than when you originally
Yeah.
wanted it, but I
Hmm.
think we talked through the logic of just like the Pro went up so much that really the XLT is only a couple grand more. So is that kind of what you landed on why you decided that?
Yeah, I think just seeing how rapidly the price was increasing, especially on the Pro trim. I mean, it's crazy to think, but again, time capsule. We all remember that the Pro launched at 39,000, launched at 39. Right now, they're selling it for 55, which is 2,000 more than the base XLT
Yeah,
started at. So
started out.
when you look at that progression, I was like, it would be silly not to just lock in a price and have the peace of mind of knowing it'll get delivered,
Yeah.
hopefully in 2023. So
And you had
yeah,
$1,000 deposit on top of it, which most people didn't have to
yeah,
do that, but your dealer made you do an extra thousand. So you had a lot on the line this whole time.
that's true. I actually, well, to follow up on that, as my wedding approached and money was tight, I reached out and my dealer was very open minded, and I was like, let's
Mhm.
be honest. When I gave you this $1,000, you told me you were submitting my order the next day. And that was in January. And so I was like, I won't hold,
Totally.
I'm not going to point any fingers. We've all been in the dark for this whole thing. But I was like, just give me my $1,000 back, keep my reservation, and I'll move forward when the time
Oh,
comes.
that's
And
great.
yeah, so I have to give a gold star to my local dealership for, yeah, they didn't put up a fight at all. Refund was on my card, a couple days later. So they handled
Oh,
that
that's
well, I
really
think.
good.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
as they should have, because as I was saying, no one else had to do $1,000. Everyone just
Right.
did the normal $100. But when you
Right.
ordered, did you have to pay a little more, or they just let you go through with it?
Well, so the Ford website, and I'd be interested to hear how this compared to you, Larry, because you submitted your order a little while ago.
Hmm.
The moment I selected my trim and my build, the website wanted $500, or
Yep.
else my order was not getting submitted. So I did the 500 on December 15th when I submitted my order.
Yeah, so that's what I think most people had to deal with. I do think the dealer gets to set that, so it might have been a little different for some people, but
Hmm.
500 seemed to be the standard across the board. So yeah, that's
Hmm.
what I did. Well, anyways, congrats, you made it. So or to a checkpoint. Oh, you didn't
Yeah.
actually make it, yeah, but
Yeah.
a good checkpoint indeed.
Yeah, for sure. Feels good.
Well, awesome. I think we've done a little bit of chit chat up top, but I think it's time to get into the meat of today's episode, which is the official 2022 award show for electric vehicles. It's got a really professional, concise name, and it's what I
Hmm.
just said.
Yep. And all the trophies have that exact title printed on them.
They
So,
do. So you can't see it. There's some at Joe's house. There's some at mine. We've got
mhm.
stacks and stacks of trophies.
Yep.
We'll be sending to the winners of today's
Hmm.
events. So congrats to them. A lot of them couldn't be here tonight, which is unfortunate. Would have loved to have them here,
Hmm.
but they couldn't make the trip. So they're in our thoughts.
Yeah. Most, you could say most or all couldn't make it, but we'll
That's
leave.
okay. Okay, so none of them are here, but I don't want people to leave the stream. So maybe there's a surprise appearance by the Hyundai Ioniq. You never know.
Yeah, maybe. That's how
Also, all
you
of our
get the
winners are
retention.
vehicles, not people. So that'd be pretty
Hmm.
hard to accommodate. I don't have that big of a driveway.
And I don't have that big of a basement. So, yeah.
All right. Did everybody leave yet? After that?
Steadily climbing, I would say.
Okay, cool. All right, guys. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and share this I guess unofficial kind of slideshow we have to go off of. This is the 2022 end of year EV awards. How it's going to work is we have some categories that we are going to go through. They're totally arbitrary. This is really just fun. And if you're in the stream, go ahead and type your winners here. Joe's going to give a winner. I'm going to give a winner for each category. I believe we have 10 or 12 categories and something like that.
Hmm.
And there's really nothing to this that's super official. It's just fun. We're having a good time. We're talking about electric vehicles and maybe what next year has to bring us as well.
Hmm.
So we're going to go through, especially as both of us follow basically, I don't know, I do, and I'm sure you do too, like just every single thing we can do about EVs is just like pulsing through our our I was gonna say blood, but that's maybe being dramatic. But
Yeah.
we follow it very closely. So
Hmm.
um
Yeah.
tons to
And
talk about.
I wouldn't be surprised if we have similar opinions on some of these, but it's interesting what I go to YouTube for a lot of my EV news, and so it'll be interesting to hear what's in each of our echo chambers, like
Mm.
which vehicles we're seeing a lot of and which ones we've kind of been nudged towards and towards falling in love with. So yeah, I'm interested to hear what you have to say, Larry.
All right, fantastic. So without further ado, first category in today's show is the best bang for your buck EV when thinking of the upcoming tax credit. And now, just to explain this category a little bit, starting the first of the year, there will be $7,500 tax credit up to that much. There's a bunch of other things that we won't get into in today's little snippet here, but long story short, there's about a $7,500 tax credit that most EVs that are produced in the US are eligible for. Now, there's tons of asterisks, which makes this kind of an interesting category because there's tons of great EVs we'd say might be the bang for your buck, but they don't actually qualify for this tax credit.
Hmm.
So we will be both nominating the best ones that actually can use this credit. Did I
Mhm.
say that 6 times in the same way? Yes, I
No,
did.
I think that was beautifully put.
Fantastic. So, Joe, I'll let you go first since I've been rambling so long.
Well, I think this one's a no-brainer. At least for me. Again, this is just the EVs I'm exposed to. I actually Instagram messaged Larry a few weeks ago and said I was very tempted to order one of these and just buy one
I
off
know
of
what
a
you're going to
nearby lot.
say.
Yeah, I'm giving clues here. Um, I think it's got to be the Chevy Bolt, right? The EUV specifically.
Mhm.
You
Oh,
get a
okay.
little bit,
So the step up.
yeah. The Bolt EUV, um, it gives you a little more space than the original Bolt. It starts under $30,000, and you could equip it with like the red line package, which is a couple thousand. But the kicker for me was that you can get the autonomous. I think they call it not
Super Cruise?
Super Cruise for like another 2,500 or something. So you're getting
Yeah.
a self-driving, varying degrees of self-driving on certain highways for under $40,000.
Mm.
And so to me, I before I submitted my lightning order, I literally was considering searching around the local inventory for one of these because they're just so affordable.
Yeah, and honestly, the people who own them love them. So like,
Mm-hmm.
there's I don't want to say like a cult following because it's just a following at this point.
Mm-hmm.
They had their bad news of the bolts catching on fire and stuff, and I love to make those jokes all the time. But the reality is, they are a cool vehicle, and you
Mm-hmm.
can't beat the cost. But that is not my answer here. Um,
Drama.
uh, a what?
Drama.
Oh, I thought you said Tacoma. I'm like, I mean,
Nope.
I don't think they make those electric yet.
Yeah.
No, so what I'm going to choose is actually a Tesla Model 3.
Okay.
And now I'm only saying that because other than for the last couple months, Teslas have started to dip in cost.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as the technology you get, the intro to the Tesla world, the Tesla charging systems, like you can't you got to remember that Tesla's still the only one doing it to the max right now with
Mm-hmm.
so like just thinking the whole big picture when I think of bang for your buck, you can get in the 40K ish range. It's eligible for the tax credit. It charges fast on the DC or on the
Mm-hmm.
Tesla charging network, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just going to be reliable at the end of the day. It's not huge, but it's not small. And I think if you're ready to go in and want the best experience,
Mm-hmm.
it might be the way to go.
So that Tesla that you got your hands on a few weeks ago has already permeated your brain. You're already just in love with that ecosystem, it seems.
That's the 80% of why I went back to a Tesla instead of anything else
Mm-hmm.
is you just have that peace of mind with the charging networks. It really, you don't think about that as often as you should. You're cross shopping crazy features like phone is key or stupid stuff like that you get bogged down in. But at the end of the day, if you're buying an electric vehicle, you just need to look at your area because obviously it's different for everyone. But you
Yeah.
need to look at your area, see what kind of charging's around you, and especially if you're traveling at all, you just got to check it out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I haven't set foot in a Tesla recently, but I mean, we won't go on too big of a tangent here with the charging. I know there's charging nominations later in this as well, but there was just something I saw today.
Excuse me.
Saw something today from Kyle Connor about
Oh my God, he's on a rampage. He's
well,
burning Electrify America down.
yes, I commented on one of his videos and I said there is a guy at Electrify America who definitely throws darts at a picture of Kyle's face. Like it that exists for sure.
That's very funny.
But he did an Instagram post and it was like, what do we all think of being able to reserve public chargers in advance?
I saw
Um,
that. Yeah.
and so that
I
again,
hate
it's
the
like
idea, by the way.
the fact that we're even having that conversation did make me pause and go, man, I really am jealous of that Tesla network for sure.
hmm Yeah, it's wild out there, especially because you just have Teslas fighting for Tesla chargers, which is sometimes they're all clogged even at that. But
Mm-hmm.
then you have everyone else charging
Yeah.
or fighting over the other ones. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, anyway, before we let's keep this ball rolling because I'm sure
Mm-hmm.
we'll bring this back up and
Yeah.
Next here we have who won the, and I didn't research this, so this is all you, Joe. I didn't see you added this, to be honest. So
Yeah.
this is Joe's category because I did not do my job.
No, no,
The
no.
most EVs delivered in 2022 goes to
Tesla. And,
okay. Well,
and
then I guess I knew that.
right. And I put this in just because I know we are going to, again, go on tangents about the Lightning and the Bolt. And I wanted to make sure that we acknowledge, the original, the OG.
Mhm.
Tesla is still out there cranking them out faster than any other manufacturer. And obviously, we talked about their supercharger network. So I just wanted to make sure they got their due. This one is purely objective. There's no opinion here. Tesla is still at the top of the food chain for the moment when it comes to EV production. And so I wanted to give them a shout out.
Yep, that's makes sense. I mean, I know they've been crushing it. Those have been the goals. That's what's setting them apart from brands like Rivian, who
Yep.
maybe gets MVP, like, or not, no, most improved, because they're
Mm-hmm.
starting to crank them out a little more. I think there's
Mm-hmm.
some issues right now of like having to take some features away as they scale, but
Yep.
they're doing their thing too. So it's not an easy feat to get EVs out the door, and
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, that's worth acknowledging.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Up next, we have, this is a fun category. I did a little research before we started because I knew what I was going to say, but I wasn't sure. So there's a little bit to talk about here. But the best fast charging EV award. Do you want me to go first or you?
You take the lead on this one.
Okay, so for this category, we're not just saying, hey, this one on paper charges the fastest. It's like there's probably like 5 I'd put in this category. It's the ones that are on, 800-volt architecture, the people who are doing it, scaling and ready for the EVs of the future,
Mm-hmm.
assuming the charger can handle the vehicles can handle. So of those like 5, maybe 4ish that are in my head, what are the ones? So for me, I think when you consider cost, when you consider the availability, I'm going to give this to the EV6, actually, the Kia
Whoa.
EV6,
Okay.
because it's got tremendous charging speed at a good price point, and you can't beat it. It's overall pretty decent. I've actually drove one. That's the only reason I chose that over the Ionic, because
Mm-hmm.
they're basically the same exact car. But I haven't actually drove an Ionic, so I'm going to go with EV6.
Okay. Well, that uh, shoehorns perfectly into my pick, which was going to be the Ionic 5, because,
Oh, really?
yeah, I mean, you've got uber expensive EVs that can also charge at 350
Right, right.
kilowatts. But I think the fact that Kia and Hyundai have chosen to give you that feature at an affordable price is going to help adoption. So not only are they putting out a better product, but in a way they're helping move this whole process forward a little quicker. And so that's why I went with the Ionic 5.
Yeah, it seems like our heads were in the same place. Like overall,
Yeah.
it's a realistic purchase. It gears you for the future. The only downside, if you're cross shopping it next year, is you're going to have things like the Bolt, maybe even the Blazer later in the year, and some of the
Hmm.
other ones that do qualify, and obviously the Tesla lineup that
Hmm.
qualify for a tax credit on top of it. Hyundai and Kia, obviously they're the same company, but they're going to have to come in and get aggressive with some incentives and stuff to be a contender, because on paper it looks great, but obviously they got to compete with some big dogs.
Yeah, yeah, and I hope they keep it up and try to keep the price on these vehicles down, to be sure. Because the Ionic 5 is another vehicle I seriously considered
They're
impulse
cool.
shopping. Yeah, they look great, and
Excuse me.
yeah, they've got a lot going for them, including the charging speed.
Yeah, totally. And then the last thing I'll say on it is uh sorry, I'm reading comments here. The only negative is no rebate, no rebate. Okay. Um, totally lost my train of thought because I looked at comments. So maybe we'll just. Oh no, I was gonna mention the expensive ones. That's what it was. Obviously, I think like the Porsche Taycan is one of like the most coveted charging like
Yep.
beasts.
Hmm.
And then I think the Hummer EV as well is
Yeah.
another. We'll give like a runner up because that's a supercharger as well, and a
Yep.
good sneak preview into what some of the future Chevy vehicles can do,
Hmm.
because it'll share the same technology. So
Yep.
keep an eye out for those. And on to the next one here, which is the best plug-in hybrid of the year. Because hey, we don't discriminate here. Plug-in hybrids are EVs too, and I stand
Mhm.
by that.
Yeah.
So who's yours going to?
So when I went to London recently,
Okay,
um,
brag.
and saw well, but what I noticed was I felt like they had a wider variety of plug-in hybrids, and
Mm,
that like I was seeing them everywhere and models that we don't have available in the US. So it got me a little jealous, and it I was like, well, I don't really consider plug-in hybrids, but you know, they're great for if you want to have a clean commute, but
mm.
then not have headaches on road trips. So I started shopping into them. And so I'm going to start with an honorable mention to the Jeep Wrangler 4xe, which I know has a special place in your heart too.
It does.
But they're expensive. And so I actually really fell in love with I believe it's the Ford Escape plug-in hybrid. It's at the top of their
Okay.
2023 like trim list for the Escape. And you look at the inside, it's got a big, beautiful infotainment screen, and I think it's like 40 something thousand. Um, so the only reason I didn't consider looking into it further is it does not have all-wheel drive on the plug-in hybrid model, but
Mm.
I really like the look of it, and it's something I wouldn't be ashamed to drive. So that's my pick. I guess I'm gonna stick with that. I'm gonna stick with that.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because that wasn't even on my radar for this category. I was just torn between Stellantis and Toyota Lexus because I think Toyota's the best out there doing it right now.
Hmm.
They've got the biggest selection. They've got the what was it called? The Prius. Oh no, did my video cut off?
It might be me.
Oh no.
Oh no,
Hey, give me 1 second here.
the technical difficulties
Yeah, I spent a half
of
hour before this getting my camera to work.
it was an
Bear with me,
emotional
guys.
roller
Ah,
coaster.
ugly.
It looks. Most viewers would be like, "Is that even a different camera?"
Really? Okay, we'll just switch back to that one then. All right, there I am. Okay. Anyways, what I was saying is,
Hmm.
I'm glad that you picked that because, as I was saying, Toyota crushing it right now. Um, and I was gonna pick them because they have the most options. They just have the most options between them and Lexus.
Hmm.
I've driven a couple plug-in hybrids, but I had a week with a Lexus plug-in hybrid, and I was
I
like,
saw that.
I get this lifestyle now.
Yeah.
I really like the plug-in hybrid. But all that said, flipping, and I'm going with the Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xe, and it's
Oh.
winning not because of a price point, but because of the kind of like groundbreakingness it has of that like adventure outdoor vehicle that is also like kind of luxurious because it's a Grand Cherokee.
Hmm.
It checks way more boxes than anything else. It's probably on par with like the RAV4 Prime, maybe. Like it was between
Mm,
those two for me because they're just
yeah.
overall functionality kicking ass, but like also being a pretty cool option. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
give it to Jeep because they need to win something tonight.
Yeah, and, well, they might come up later. I'm gonna drop that Easter
Oh,
egg. They might come
okay.
up later. I'm just gonna leave that there.
All right. So stick around, everybody.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Awesome. Okay, so now this one is fun too. Not plug-in hybrid. The best hybrid of the year, which I have a for sure winner here. I'm just gonna go since I'm already talking. Hopefully I don't steal yours. I'll be short. But it's got to be the Maverick hybrid.
Oh,
Um, because obviously it's just crushing it right now. It's almost impossible to get. It sets a new groundbreaking what do you call it? Standard for trucks because you can
mhm.
get a hybrid truck that's going to get 40 miles per gallon. It's not a
Yeah.
full size truck, obviously, but it's super functional, super gas efficient. Can't beat it. Maverick wins this hands down.
There you go. So I actually didn't even prepare a vehicle for this category because I was going to say, um, I hybrids are just not on my radar. If they
Mm,
don't have, like, an all-electric range, then it's not something I've considered. With that being said, though, I'm glad you said Maverick because that's the clear winner. But I'll give an honorable mention, a nomination to the Hyundai Santa Cruz, just because it's kind of
Ooh,
in that same ballpark. Like it's a small truck, they have a hybrid option. Um, but I think if I had to buy one of them tomorrow, I would buy a Ford Maverick. So and the Maverick, the Santa Cruz looks a little weird in my opinion,
a little bit, yeah.
and the Maverick, I mean, they're rolling out Tremor Mavericks. They're rolling out like I it feels right at home in the Ford truck lineup. So, yeah, I fully support your decision.
Great. Glad
Yeah.
we landed on
Yeah.
it. Awesome. What do we have next? Ooh, this one's interesting. This could go anywhere.
Yeah.
I think my I'm gonna go last here because I have like a out of the box answer, I think. Um, you go first.
So this one for me, we're both lightning YouTubers, so I'm going to start by
Mm,
saying it's not the lightning. The lightning
no,
is many things. It is not groundbreaking
not
in
no.
its design. It borrows most of its parts from the internal combustion one. But I saw a different vehicle in person just on the highway, and it caught my eye because I'm like, that is, you could tell just by when it passes you, that's an EV and it's from the future. And that vehicle was a red Kia EV6. It was the
Oh,
first time I had seen one on the road, and it was so striking because you see plenty of Teslas and like they look fine, but this vehicle, like you said, it's just like the Ionic 5, but to me, that futuristic, sharp design language. It spoke to me and it looked like
mm.
a car and it had me Googling, like, are there any nearby? What is the price of it again? So I think it's a great looking car. And I'm going to go with best design EV6.
I think that's a totally fair answer. It always caught my eye when I saw it as well. So yeah, I like
Mhm.
that. I'm going a way different way though. You know what I think is one of the coolest looking vehicles, even though I don't know if I could ever get one. It's the Hummer EV truck. I think it's
Oh,
just
God.
so stupid awesome.
Yeah.
It's way too big, which is the only downside I could really think of, but it totally balances like a uh the original aesthetics, but like brings it to the future without going full Cybertruck. I
Hmm.
think that's the best way to just like say it.
Yeah.
I totally love you could pop the top. So like when you think of like full design,
Hmm.
everything is thought out. It looks gorgeous on the inside. I mean, it is so over the top and stupid that no one in their right mind should ever buy one unless it like gets down to like 40K by some miracle. But
Yeah.
hey, maybe someday, like 10 years from now, I can find one used for like, who knows? So that'll
80,000.
always, exactly. It'll always be on my radar as just something to look at, but I
Yeah.
think it looks cool.
Yeah, and I was gonna say the same things you did. It's good at staying true to itself. You look at it and you know it's a Hummer. I got to see it in person at the auto show, and it is striking. And I was gonna mention, if you didn't, the fact that you can remove the roof. I mean, that's a design feature that not many
It's
EVs
great.
are doing, but yeah, that sets it apart in the category for sure.
Yeah. And shout out to Roto here. There's no way we're looking over the lyric, which is a sexy looking car. I can't, that's why I threw it up on the screen here. I don't think it looks bad at all.
I don't see. Oh, the comment. Okay. Um, I am not stricken by the lyric personally, but
No.
this is one where a design award is so subjective.
It
Uh,
really is. That's why I'm definitely throwing all the comments up because I want everyone's voice to be heard on something that could be taken either way. So I might even
yeah.
I'm gonna you talk for a second. I'm gonna pull up a lyric as well as
Mhm.
the lucid here on the screen because they really take design seriously.
Yeah, I was gonna give honorable mention to the Lucid only because when you're talking about design, the fact that they achieved the lowest drag coefficient ever, obviously some thought went into the design. Um, but it's not a. I mean, it's a cool car. I think we think it's cool because we know that it's super fast and super luxurious and spacious. But to the naked eye, it doesn't excite me as much as some other EVs. I do want to shout out somebody in the comments shouted out Rivian, which I think all over the internet, we've done a good job of. Oh my God, my light just fell all over the. See,
You're
I had
good.
to
You're
have
good.
technical difficulties just because you did too. Um, but yeah, I think Rivian gets an honorable mention. But I also know that's a more polarizing design. I see you've got the Lyric pulled up
Yeah.
here.
I mean, this particular view of it, I'm like all in. I'd be like, yeah, you could catch me in one of those, no problem.
Yeah,
And then
yeah. Now, Larry, do Cadillacs have a reputation as like rich grandparent cars? Like, because that's what I think when
totally.
I think Cadillac. Okay. All
Yeah,
right. I just want to be sure.
definitely. Yeah,
Okay.
but it's I mean, to be fair, I would go with like a Blazer or something before it just because of the cost difference for the same exact
Yeah.
tech.
Now, is that whole front grille like LED lights? Is that what I saw?
It is, and it's pretty damn sweet looking. Um,
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm multitasking here. So real quick before we move on, we'll show the Lucid, which is
Something about the silhouette of the Lucid. Like, obviously, it's very slick, no pun intended.
this one just doesn't do it for me. Honestly, I don't see Lucid lasting, if I'm being very blunt. That's why I don't cover it much on the channel. I get that it's got the stats, but it's like way too pricey and honestly just looks like a Toyota. Not
I
that it's a
think,
bad thing. It's
though,
just it doesn't stand out to me.
I'm not an EV historian, and I won't pretend to be, but my recollection of studying the ancient scrolls of EVs is
Jesus.
that this is what the price is that the Sapphire? Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but this is how they hope to start, hopefully 10 or 15 years from now, having a vehicle that we can afford, Larry, is they
Right.
rake in ridiculous profits on that Sapphire edition. That's like officially the fastest, whatever, production
But they
car
need a
ever.
fan base to do that.
That's true. I guess, I mean,
I'm just teasing them. I'm teasing them.
I think the fan base will slowly evolve and trickle down into younger buyers as their prices drop. But I mean, what gets a young auto enthusiast more excited than again being the fastest vehicle? I mean, did you see the YouTube video of the Sapphire beating like the
I've
Moto drag bike?
I
Like
mean,
it
yeah,
was,
it's got its bells and whistles. That's very fair.
yeah. All that being said, I'm not going
But
to buy one, and I never will because
you
we
could
won't be
get
able to afford them.
yeah, you get two plaids.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
Um, roughly. Anyways, I like that category a lot. I think we got a lot of cool stuff.
yeah,
And yeah, maybe Lucid will make it. I'm reading the comments. But yeah, we'll see.
yeah,
I don't see a single Lucid here in Michigan, so maybe that's just like
yeah.
my environment. But
I've never
up
seen one
next.
either.
Oh, okay. So this last little, not last section, but we're gonna go through and we're gonna talk about some big winners that we think are some of the best valued EVs or just coolest or whatever it might be for
Mhm.
vehicles. We're gonna go down in price range. So we're gonna start with a little bit more expensive. Now, I said under 100K here, but since we're starting here, let's actually flop this a little bit and let's call this like anything
Oh, yeah.
expensive. Pick your favorite expensive EV.
Oh. So since we're working our way down, we're gonna do best that you can buy for over 100,000, and then am I
And then
understanding that correctly?
we're gonna
Okay.
cut the budget down because you
Okay.
suggested a great suggestion, which was like, hey, let's do like best budget. And I was like, well, let's do one for every budget, and we'll
Yeah.
talk through why.
Yeah. So if we're gonna say best over 100,000, we've mentioned this vehicle a few times. For me, it's the Hummer because
Yeah.
I I it's gonna make us seem like we're kinda one trick tunnel vision, but it's the removable top on top of all the other bells and whistles, the
Yep.
four-wheel steering, um, the crazy what's their crazy mode called?
The
FTW or,
crab walk. Oh yeah.
watts to freedom.
Yeah,
Um,
WTF mode. You're right.
yeah. So that would be my pick. What do you got, Larry?
I'd probably say the same thing, but I've always just had an affinity for the Tesla Model X. So I might as well just bring it up again here.
Oh,
I
okay.
I was combing through, I mean, that's why I bought one. I still haven't really announced that to my channel or done a video or anything, but
Mhm.
I was combing through an old video of mine where I did something similar to what we're doing today, and I was like doing a tier list of just the EVs for the year.
Yeah.
And in that video, I was prepping for this video, which whatever a while back because I've had this plan for a little bit.
Yeah.
And I said in that video, I said Tesla X. Oh man, that'd be my dream car, but I could never
Mhm.
get it. I didn't consider you could buy them used, which is what I ended up doing.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say, I would still probably get a new Tesla Model X plaid
Wow.
if I could afford it, probably.
Okay. All right.
But it'd be tough because that Hummer is sick looking.
Yeah. Yeah. Two very
Okay.
different opinions there. I like that.
It is. It is. I know. People are like, does this guy have no constitutions? He's just like,
Um,
so now again, even though this says under, we're gonna say we're gonna do everything above for now. So
mhm.
all right. To not be confusing, now let's just go back to I know I'm losing everyone.
You're good.
Now let's do between 75 and 100K. That's what this one
Mhm.
is now. Um, I'll go first. Sorry, I know you're
Go
about to
for it.
talk.
No, go for it.
Yeah, someone just commented my pick, Rivian R1T. I think um, it's got to come in at this price point because it's the only one you can get, and I think it has a lot of great functionality, great range, totally cool looking,
Mhm.
functional because it's a truck, tons of room, gorgeous design inside. I think one of the best looking inside. I'm gonna pick the
Mhm.
R1T.
Okay. Yeah, I actually think I was originally going to say the Porsche Taycan
Ooh,
because
good choice.
yeah, some videos that I watched, obviously I've never been in one. So this is all just speculating here. Um but had a lot of positive things to say. You got the charging speed. They say it's one of the most fun EVs to drive. So that was gonna be my pick. But you make a good point. I was gonna save Rivian for a different price bracket, but because the configurations you can buy right now and the ones you see on the road right now are in this price range, it has to get an honorable mention too, because I think that's the vehicle I've been most jealous of when I see
Yeah.
them. I think I've seen 3 this year on the road, and it's like seeing a shooting star because it's like such a cool vehicle. So yeah, I think I'll echo you with the Rivian as well.
All right, great. Yeah, I think it's cool, and or even R1S if you want to. I'll change mine to R1S. That way we have two different
Okay.
answers. How about that?
Okay. Yeah.
Just because
Perfect.
I've said it for a while too. Like you can't beat the fact that Rivian was first to market with a full size. I mean, all right, I guess I just said the Model X, but like a traditional looking full size SUV.
Yeah.
So it's Rivian, people are flaky on them a little bit still. People have
Yeah.
their doubts, but I do think if they can get production up, they do stand a chance to be a real competitor, which is saying a lot. There's so many startup EVs right now that
Yeah.
they're not gonna make it.
Yeah, and I think Rivian has already done a good job of planting the seeds of like, how Jeep owners, they're like, it's in their DNA.
Ah,
And once they get
yeah.
into one, they're only Jeep owners. I think Rivian is starting to do that where they're alone in the category for the moment and they've hooked all their lifetime buyers already, I think.
I think that's a really good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna have to think of like Rivian nerd things to say about them, even though I want to be one. But
Right,
uh,
right. We're secretly just
uh,
jealous.
no, yeah, that's all it is. It's projection.
Yeah.
Okay, so best under 75. So now just let me skip to the next one to know what this range is. Okay, tight range here.
Okay.
I wish I put more thought into this deck, but all right, we're gonna go
You're
right
good.
in between the 60 to 75 range. Really got to think on this one.
Well, if you're thinking, I
Yeah,
will
you
just
go
jump
first because
in.
I don't know anymore.
Because we switched all the slides, I'm having to think on the fly. But what better vehicle than the one I just ordered um,
Oh yeah.
for 63? I mean, it's right in the price range. And I was tempted away by other EVs, but I kept circling back to that Lightning and what you get for that price. And I think Larry and I agree it's worth the money. And so I would say Lightning XLT specifically.
All right, great point. I'm just gonna pick something else to kind of shake things up.
Yeah.
And I think I got to go with because it's in the 62 75K range. The Tesla Model Y is that price now. It sucks
Ooh.
that it's that expensive, but it's still the most popular EV right now. It really is.
Mhm.
And it's for a reason. I owned one. I loved it. It,
Mhm.
it serves everything you need. It's fast. It's fun. You got the charging network. It's
Yep.
got the full trunk of a SUV. It's a little small overall said and done, but checks a lot of boxes. Um, so yeah, I'll pick the Tesla Model Y.
Now the Model Y was supposed to be like the semi-budget version of the X, right? Like the little brother.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, get this. I think when I bought, or let's have a little fun here. Um,
Mhm.
I'm gonna share my screen. When I bought mine, it was, um, I think I paid like 55 out the door,
Mhm.
which is not cheap, but it's pretty cheap for what you're about to see.
Mhm.
So you
Yeah.
price one now, which have
Oh boy.
gone down a little bit. Oh, whoops, I got to do build.
Well, and while you're pulling this up, did you see the promotion they're running right now? 7,500
Yeah,
off plus like free supercharging for thousands of miles or something.
yeah,
Anyways, sorry.
10,000 miles free charging plus. No, it's worth talking about. It's like
Yeah.
if you have them in your area, which I don't because Tesla, there's no Tesla dealers here.
Mhm.
It's really worth considering
Yeah.
because this price literally at the freaking point of sale, which is like way better than a tax credit and dealing with
Mhm.
that. You get $7,500 off, and you get it off of the Model 3 too, which is actually what I'd go for.
Mhm.
But yeah, so it has gone up over $10,000 from when I bought it,
Yeah.
which is crazy. And the craziest part is it's still probably worth this. Like I would
Yeah.
pay that still.
Yeah.
Um,
When did you drive your Y? Can you refresh me?
I had it last early December for like 7 or 8 months, maybe.
Okay. Okay.
So not too long ago. And then I already missed it, so I got a new one. But this is the deal. I mean, I'd probably go with a. Oh, they don't have the long range anymore.
Now,
I'd probably go with this guy.
is that with the credit though? Like
Oh, sorry,
40.
purchase price. So
Okay.
you'd go with this one and go under 40K for a new Tesla.
Yeah, with their current discount, which is
Yes,
kind of
right
insane.
here.
That it gives you a little bit of buyer's remorse for that lightning order I just made, but got to stay the course.
It does, but this is only if you can find one near you, remember?
Yeah.
Like, you have to take delivery before the first of the year for that to count. So
Oof.
some people got lucky with their orders just being up in time, and they get a little extra Christmas present, and that's great,
Mhm.
but you gotta be able to find one. So, like, this is within 200 miles of me. I've been tinkering around on here just out of curiosity.
Yeah.
They have every other thing, but the Ys oh, there's one Y. Look at that. Where is it?
Nice,
Oh, it's
nice.
only in Chicago. Oh, delivered to Chicago. Okay. That's actually a pretty good deal. If I were me and I didn't just buy my other vehicle, I'd jump on
Yeah.
it. But
Yeah.
um oh wait. Were you guys not seeing what I was sharing?
I'm still on the Model 3 page.
Oh man, I feel like an idiot. Okay. I found a used one is all. Um doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We should get back on back on track.
On topic.
Um but yeah, it's a great deal, especially if you're wondering what you should do, and
Mhm.
if you've been considering Tesla. If there's one in your area, all said and done, jump on it, man.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna find any Tesla haters on these streams. Like, I know Larry owns one, and I fully acknowledge that they are great vehicles, and I've
I
considered
mean,
buying
I
them
hate
plenty of
them.
times.
Probably the biggest Tesla hater on this stream, and I've owned two.
Yeah.
I don't think they're built well. I don't think they're a luxury vehicle. I don't
Mhm.
like the. I mean, I like that they've streamlined how to sell correctly. I think they've done a
Mhm.
good job with that. But I think there's a lot of flaws with Tesla. I'm
Mhm.
the last fanboy. I'm not. I'm far from it. But I man enough to admit who's running things right now, and it's Tesla.
Yeah.
It's just that's
But
what
they
it
don't
is.
but they don't sell a pickup truck. We can't let this conversation go by without mentioning that. They have not
I
brought
mean,
a
that's
tr a
another
pickup
reason
truck to
why
market.
deep down I hate Tesla. It's like they don't answer their promises. They're not a good company for
Yeah.
the biggest part, but they're a great company in other parts. So,
Yeah.
what are
Yep.
you gonna do?
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, before I get all heated up. Next subject. This will be between 40K. This is a tough one.
Hmm.
Between 40K and 60K.
Oh boy. Okay. I'm trying to spitball here. Well, I'll stick with. I mean, if we're talking full EVs between 40 and 60, Hyundai Ioniq 5. I'm gonna go with that.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking you were gonna go there, which is why I was trying to avoid it because I was gonna say EV6 again. Again, they really are fun to drive. Like they are
Hmm.
cool. They do a good job. I'm flipping it up though. I can't believe we've neglected this long. You're gonna flip when I say this. Ready?
Ready.
It's got to be the Mach E. It's going to be
Oh
eligible for the
man.
tax credit. It's a
Ah,
sportier. It's got a little bit more
yeah.
class than like the Bolt or something. It's like a little bit more
Yeah.
upscale. You get to pretend to be I don't know. I like it. Yeah.
Between 40 and 60? In my head, they are not in that range, but they are. You're right.
No,
Oh,
they definitely
yeah.
are. That's exactly
Yeah.
where they live.
Yeah, you're right.
They
Starting at
used to they're
46,000.
they're more expensive now. You used to be able to get them at like 39 or 36, I think they started, which is just
Right.
nuts.
And I
That's a
think that
steal.
because it fell victim to the price hikes that a lot of Ford's EVs have, um, that's why I slowly pushed them out of my scope.
Mhm.
But yeah, again, just like every other vehicle on this list, it's one that I really researched and was tempted to jump on because yeah, you get a nice little frunk, you get all-wheel drive, you get sporty drive modes. It's a win-win. You get the 15-inch infotainment that we want so bad on the Lightning. So
Exactly.
yeah, a lot of wins there. Good
I
catch, Harry.
really Yeah, the Mach-E has just been around so long. It really is a triumph of a vehicle, though. When you think about how early to market it was,
Yeah.
competes neck and neck with a Tesla Model Y. Obviously, I think the Model Y holds a little bit more of a flame to it, but
Hmm.
holds its own for sure. The Mach-E is a great vehicle. Up on the screen, Anthony has great answers for this budget, so I tossed him
Hmm.
in. He said, I mean, all these are exactly what we've talked about already,
Yeah.
so he's right there with us.
Yeah.
Um, Great. So now it gets tricky. So the next
Man.
range is below 40. Oh,
Mm,
just below 40.
there you
Ooh,
go.
ooh, nobody look,
Uh,
nobody look. Okay. um, this is a hard one, man.
I mean, we already
I'm
talked
cheating
about
for
it.
mine as a heads up. You go first,
Go
and then I'm
for it.
gonna cheat for mine.
I'll riff, but for all the reasons that we already talked about, best under 40,000. I mean, that already limits you to just a few EVs, and so I'm gonna go with the Chevy Bolt EUV. You get
Yeah.
more space. I mean, federal tax credit, autonomous driving. I mean, you're looking at like 30,000 for crazy um, EV. It has its cons. It does not have a frunk. It cannot fast charge. It's stuck at 50 kilowatts. But again, for the money, if you want to feel like you're driving clean and recharge at your house every night, I think the Bolt EUV needs considered. And if you're like, oh, it's not a sexy car, throw the red line package on it, and I think it's a decent consideration for under 40,000.
Yep. Very solid point. Um, Roto here coming again. ID4 base is a great answer. I've totally forgot about the
Hmm.
ID4 this whole time.
Yeah, yeah.
But ready for my cheating answer?
Ready.
Technically, the Silverado EV is saying it has the MSRP at the work truck under 40K.
That's true,
It's
but
laughable to think about, but technically, no, and it's also not out right now. So I guess I can't do that. I can't do that.
that trim I don't think is going to get delivered till 2024. So
I think you're right.
it's
Yeah.
a
If
ways
not like the
away.
end of 2024. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so man, I don't want to say the Bolt, even though that's probably the answer. Um, I'm gonna go with Anthony's answer and say the ID4.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Now
I'm gonna pull this up. I
now
think it's sharp looking. I like the way it looks. Yeah, sorry, go
oh,
ahead.
I disagree with you completely about
Oh,
looking
really?
sharp.
All right,
Yeah.
let's pull it up.
When I was in London, I saw a lot of ID3s, which is
Hmm.
the cool little hatch version of the ID4, and that one is way easier on the eyes. The ID4 to me looks like an egg that is being propelled down the street by wheels. That's just me.
I don't think it's that bad. I mean, at least the marketing materials make it look nice.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, that's a great starting point. I mean, it doesn't have like the fun zoominess of an. I mean, I know that's like the big thing is it's like got a pretty weak 0 to 60
That
time for an
is an
EV.
egg. Go back to that picture. That is an egg
That
on
doesn't
wheels,
look great.
and
That
I
doesn't look
stand
great.
by it.
All right.
But
But
I'm
I mean, that's not too bad.
no. Now, when you buy an ID4, don't you get free charging at
Yep.
Electrify America for what, 3 years or something?
3 years of free public charging, although you're stuck at the cursed Electrify America
Yeah,
chargers,
yeah, that's true.
um, which were created by Volkswagen as their punishment, if you remember.
Yeah. Well, we have 26 viewers. Will you do me a favor and Google on your screen share ID3?
Oh shoot! Yeah, one sec, I X'd out of
Just
it.
in case our American audience is going, what's
I've
the
never.
ID3?
I don't know if I've seen one.
And this is what frustrates me is that they only sell it in European market. Like, look at that first one, that top
This
left.
thing
Okay, hold on. That wrap
is it
makes it
just
look
like a
silly.
Golf? It
It's
looks
sup-
like a EV Golf.
yes, it's supposed to be a sporty little hatch. To me, if I had to pick between the two, I would drive that with more.
I think we are different people, friend.
And that is why we're on this
And
podcast. It would
so
be boring if we agreed with each
this one's the egg, or the other one's the egg, not this thing.
other. Okay,
This
in
is
gray,
way more of an egg.
in person, it's more flattering. Look at the silhouette from the side there. I think I I would drive that, but that's
All
just me.
right,
And again, my
too small.
soapbox that I'm getting on is that it frustrates me that they won't sell this in America. Like they're convinced this will only sell well in Europe. It's like,
I mean, it basically is a bolt.
yeah, right. I mean, I think they would compete with each other.
Yeah.
Um, the more pictures, I hate that color. So the more pictures you show me, I'm falling off. But
That
anyways, there you go. There's
was
our
fun.
two best EVs for under 40K.
Um, awesome. Well, I guess we just have one more. I hate to end it so soon, but well, let's not. Let's go to the next one.
Yeah.
Uh, the most anticipated EV going into 2023. Now I'm going to let you stipulate the rules here. Is this something that's going to be purchasable, orderable at least? What's the rules here or
Well,
announced?
I think, yeah, anything that got announced this year that is not on the road yet, but will be, opening for orders next year or reservations. I mean, EV companies are great at teasing the vehicle
Yeah,
and gaining interest, and then it takes 2 years for one to hit the road. So, something that we saw this year that whet our appetite and has us looking forward to being able to place an order.
gotcha. Mine might be on the screen right now. Just as a I love these. I know they're all concept right now, but I love the concept drawings of that EV9.
Hmm.
It could be I'm a sucker for that teal. I do like that like teal kind of, I don't know, matte look it has. I'll
Hmm.
just say it. If it follows what their Kia EV6 is doing, the
Hmm.
great charging speeds, um, a decent battery. I mean, it'll probably being as big as it will. It'll probably only have like 250 in range
Yeah.
at like a good price point, but
Yeah.
I'm all for it. I'm a sucker for Kia, even though it's like embarrassing to say I like Kia. What can I say?
But I think it's becoming less embarrassing to say you like Kia.
Yeah,
They did the
they're doing a
whole
good job.
rebrand, yeah, and they've got some great cars out. Like I said, the EV6 I love. Um, so Roto shouted out the Equinox, which again
Yeah, just
I have a reservation, and I will definitely be getting my hands on one of those because it's supposed to be pretty affordable.
yep.
Um, but most anticipated,
Let's look real quick, or well, you talk while I pull it up.
is for me, it's got to be the all electric Jeep that was announced this year, the
Mm,
Recon. Um, it looks like it's got some Wrangler heritage. Now it says US availability is supposed to be 2024, but that means they're going to open up order banks if it follows the template that other manufacturers have been following in 2023. And so I'm going to go with the Jeep Recon just for me, but this
I
Equinox.
think.
Go for it,
I
Larry.
think it's a good answer, but I do think it's a little further away.
You think so?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I was gonna say the Ram Revolution, but I don't think
Mm,
that is gonna. It's gonna get teased actually in a couple of days here, in about
mm,
15 days at CES.
cool.
Also, I think Volvo is gonna have a new EV at CES, or maybe
Mhm.
Volkswagen. Actually, it's one of those two. I always get them confused. But I don't know. I guess we'll see about that. Anyway, back to
Yeah,
the Equinox here. You know what? I hate the current Equinox and all of its successors. I just
me
never
too.
liked them.
Me too.
But this looks pretty cool. I can't. I mean,
Yeah.
it just looks like every other midsize. Like you can't like one and not the other. They're all just
It's not
fine.
terribly exciting, but when you look
Mm-mm.
at the price, and again, it's that same Chevy formula where they start at a reasonable price for what you're getting, and then you can add on like Blue Cruise for relatively little compared to what other companies are charging for it. Not Blue Cruise, Super Cruise.
Is there
Um,
pricing for this already? I don't know if I've seen it.
so if you go down to right there, I thought it was on that trim list, maybe not. But so the 2RS is supposed to be one of the first ones that'll be available for order. I seriously have my eye on that. Before I placed my Lightning order, I was like really looking forward to making content on the Equinox ramping up to its release. So, and I think because it's a car that's not like sexy or exciting like an electric truck, it might be easier to get your hands on one if you reserve in a timely manner. So, I hate to
Yeah,
spoil it, but I think there'll be some Chevy Equinox EV content on my channel in the next year and a half.
nothing wrong with that. I mean, it looks if it really comes. I mean, this is just a random website I pulled up, but
Mhm.
if it can hit this, that's what the market needs.
Mhm.
It's a nice 35 well equipped 200 plus mile range
Yeah.
EV in next year. That's a great answer.
Yeah. And I think they said like it should be available I want to say fall 23 and then the Blazer, there's certain trims of the Blazer that are supposed to be available like spring 23. Like it's right
Blazer
around
looks
the
good
corner.
too.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm seeing a lot of people commenting Cybertruck, throwing them up on the screen now. Um, and I love that answer. I love the optimism, guys, but I don't know. I don't know. Well, I hope we see it. I really do.
It
I really
seemed
hope we see it.
it seemed like it was on the back burner before he bought Twitter. So, like, where
Right.
could it possibly be on his list of priorities now?
You know, I just read yesterday that they just got a giant shipment of like robo arms or something to help with production for it,
Okay.
rumored to be production for it. So,
Yeah.
who knows? I'd love to see it, but we haven't even seen them testing a final version yet, which means we're minimum like 6 months out.
Well, and it seems like every time we see spy shots of it, it seems like they haven't hammered down the design they want either. Like first it was the debut,
Yeah.
then they shrunk the whole thing by 15%. Then they put on side view mirrors, then they changed the wheels. So it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see what product we end up with that they actually want to make.
hmm and again, I love the Cybertruck for the record. I think it. Well, it's I don't know. I don't want to talk about it. It's just making me upset because I've taken my reservation away, and I almost wish I didn't just in case, but I
Yeah.
should have just kept it. Damn.
You know what though? You're gonna be so in love with your Lightning that it's even if you had a place in line, you'd be like, "Am I gonna get rid of this beautiful truck?" You know, like
Mm,
I I don't know.
maybe.
We'll
I'm
see.
still on the fence on my Lightning, to be honest.
Oh, so let's do an order follow up on you. Did you reach out to your dealer about changing
I
your
sure
order
did,
to an
but I didn't
XLT?
get an answer.
Oh, okay.
And I don't think, or it's closed now, right? You can't do XLTs.
Yeah, well, definitely because by the time I uploaded my video called "Here's how you should order your XLT," someone commented after 2 minutes and they were like, "They're sold out." I'm like, okay, well, I guess this video is worthless.
Yeah, so I've got a couple ideas. One is I'll take order and then find like a dealer to maybe trade, like
Hmm.
maybe a dealer who has a Pro or a XLT, and just
Ooh,
say like, will you guys sell me yours MSRP and I'll sell you mine for MSRP? Then they can mark mine up for whatever they want. Maybe a dealer would take me up on that give me a good price or something.
Oh, so you would trade your
Um,
Lariat for a
I
lower
think
trim?
so. I just keep going over like pricing in my head, and um, it just seems stupid. I mean,
Can you remind us what price you locked in when you placed your order?
I think I'm at like 76K or something, which comes down to like, with like even like if I put like 10K or 20K down, which is probably all I'd do is like 10K,
Mhm.
not 20K. That's insane.
Mhm.
Um, uh, I'd still be at like thousand something at least a month, which
Yeah.
is twice of what I'm paying now for a Tesla Model X. So it's like, I don't know. I'm trying to justify it because I want one. I've
Yeah.
been doing videos on it forever, but I don't know. It just seems like so much money for what some people are getting basically the same thing for half the price.
I think you might be onto something with the trading it in
Yeah.
idea. Yeah, because all a dealer wants is to be able to mark up a vehicle and sell it, and they'd be able to mark up a Lariat more than a Pro, let's say.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
you might
Or
you
I'll
might have
talk to
some
my
luck with
dealer.
that.
Maybe they'll be able to help me. I don't know. Worst case, I'll have it for like 2 months and then just try to break it. But that's another thing. Like with the dipping value in the lightnings that I'm seeing, kind of
Mhm.
has me worried. Like, what if I get it and get caught holding the bag, and then that's my biggest fear with it is I just don't want to buy it. Turn around. They're way producing too many now,
Yep.
and then I have something that like the old fashioned day immediately loses 10K when I take it off the lot when it's
Yeah.
not the one that I really wanted overall. Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I think, you make a good point because, all the people that were impatient and wanted to jump the line, and pay a markup for a Lightning have already done that, and so that's why I think we're seeing those used Lightning, um, prices drop for sure, is because all the impatient people already whipped out their checkbooks and bought the marked up Lightnings,
Yep.
if they wanted one bad enough, and so I think
It's a good
maybe
point.
we'll
And they
we'll
made
see
it
those.
look like everyone's paying that right now when really those people started to die down.
Yeah. I mean, there's people out there like you and me, like we're impatient, but we can't afford to pay for marked up lightnings, and so we're waiting our turn.
No,
So,
and obviously there's still a reason to overpay for one and it's fine, but it's if it's your long-term vehicle forever. I'm
mhm,
someone who's owned like stupid amount of cars just in a year. Like I'm going to not keep it for more than a year or two because I'm
mhm,
gonna try to get the Silverado EV. So like that all is in my thought process. We'll see what happens.
yeah,
And then I'm seeing Anthony said used Rivian prices are coming down too. Maybe that's the long play and just wait till one of those comes into the 65, 70 range.
yeah,
I'd jump on that all day. So
mhm,
who knows, my friend? But all I know is that was the 2022 end of year EV Awards show brought to you by Larry Lynch and Joseph Herzog. I had a great time doing it. Maybe if you guys comment on this video what categories you guys want to see for next year, because we were just kind of guessing, kind of having fun. I had a great time though. Thank you, Joseph.
yeah. I think this was a lot of fun, Larry. As you know, you're the only person that's willing to sit and talk about EVs with me. So, one, this got it out of my system for the week, but it has me very excited for where EVs are headed, where we are headed in our EV journey, um, and where the industry is headed. Hopefully, we'll see some more affordable EVs this coming year.
I can't believe it, but we are going to have an even crazier year next year than we already had, which was a pretty crazy year. So
Yeah.
I can't wait, and I'm sure we'll do plenty more of these. And yeah, if you're not already subscribed to Joseph's channel, go ahead and follow him over there on his channel. Give him a thumbs up and whatever they tell you to do on YouTube. Click all the buttons or whatever.
Smash the
And
like.
yeah, make sure you do that. And then thank you guys so much for watching. It's so great having you guys as like asking questions and giving your input too, especially when I don't have an answer and I could just look, oh, Roto says this, I'll just copy what
Yeah.
he says, or Anthony says this, just copy what he says. Yeah, you guys are the best. I really appreciate it. And I'm gonna end it here. Thank you guys so much for watching.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.